Good day, everyone. This is Ivan, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone to today's webinar, which is Nurse to Nurse Hostility, Myth or Reality. I want to introduce our presenter for today, Dr. Susan Strauss. Dr. Susan Strauss, RN at D, is a national and international speaker, trainer, and consultant on workplace and healthcare violence, and a recognized expert on workplace and school harassment and bullying. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate that. And good morning, everybody. Greetings from Minnesota. So what are the objectives anyway? Well, one, we're going to define bullying in general, and we'll explore some theories and causes of bullying in nursing. We'll identify the relationship between bullying and protected class harassment. We'll list the impact of bullying in healthcare, whether it is with your colleagues or with patient care. And what do you do if you've been bullied? What steps should you take? And then if you're managers, what role do you have in the prevention and the intervention of bullying and harassment? So why is this important? And then we've got medical errors. Well, that's the third leading cause of death. Now you can see where bullying would interfere with the standard of practice for almost every one of these that are listed. Now, here's the code of ethics for nurses. Go ahead and read this. So when we look at all these provisions from the ANA, what is going on in nursing? So I've talked about bullying, but what is bullying exactly? So there's a lot of labels that we apply to bullying. Many of them use the word bullying, but also aggression, hostility, violence. So this is the definition. So when we think about bullying, it includes such things as incivility. Now, what is included in all these different behaviors leading up to assault is this. So here are some additional examples. Now, here are some additional examples of bullying. So why do nurses leave the healthcare organization? Physicians often treat them as though they're second-class citizens, and this is how nurses adapt to it. Common law tort claims. This is a form of civil rights law. It seems to me that if a nurse or anyone else was being bullied, they could see an attorney and use one of these other tort claims to bring it into the court. So nursing leadership behavior started to look, as I mentioned, like administrators and MDs. So you'll find different beliefs on that. Conscious and unconscious biases that were within the system. So nursing managers then are marginalized. When we look at all that's going on, I don't think recently, but so this is one of the theories as to why nurses might bully each other. Now, let's look at silence for a minute, because this is a contributing factor to the bullying. So silence plays a role. Now, there's also sex segregation. These are all theories, by the way. So we've got both of these playing a role in the bullying as well. So what else is the cause? Well, what's going on with the perpetrator? And it's not just the systems in the U.S., it's systems all over the world. So the systems perspective has to be addressed. These are the things that fall into systems thinking. So what are some other causes and contributing factors? And then think about all the psychological theories that are involved. What about female nurse-to-nurse hostility and sexual harassment? So when we look at gender-based bullying, it combines these three types of behaviors into one called gender harassment. So this is what we mean when we think of gender harassment. It's a hostile work environment. So that's all part of the definition of harassment. Be sure that you're aware that we do have these other laws that could be involved in bullying that you'd have to check out. Now, this talks about the impact of bullying and harassment. So these are the reasons why people do not confront the offender. So what do you do if it happens to you? Well, first of all, you document, and be sure you follow the policy and procedure. All right, now what do you do if it happens to you? Now, these are some tactics that were used by some nurses. You did it by using the broken record. So what's management's role? And does your manager then know how to intervene? So generally, what's their responsibility? To prevent it from happening. Do culture change if necessary. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I hope you found it helpful and that you're able to take some of it back to your organization. So in the meantime, good luck with any bullying you might be experiencing. So take care, be safe, and again, thanks for joining us. I hope you join us again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Susan. That was the wonderful session. That concludes the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead.